Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. This is officially the final broadcast of 2025. I'm just making sure that my audio settings are good here. No, I think we're good. Ladies and gentlemen, wow. It has been one hell of a year. In fact, I think we are going to do a little bit of a 2025 year-end recap here at the end of today's broadcast. But speaking about how insane of a year this has been, President Trump just issued one more final surprise that really we're going to be breaking down and talking about today. Ladies and gentlemen, you are not going to believe this. Take a look. President Trump has just frozen child care funding nationwide, predicting that California, as well as various other states, are going to be just as corrupt, if not more corrupt, than what we've already seen in Minnesota. Now, yesterday evening, late last night, the Trump administration canceled, they ripped away $185 million worth of federal funding from Minnesota because of all of this unchecked fraud. Now, at this point, independent journalists and just everyday Americans nationwide are beginning to find similar fraud, identical fraud to what we've seen in Minnesota. We're seeing this in every single state in the country. This is not just a Minnesota problem. These sort of problems are happening in every single state. And so funding has been frozen for all of these states nationwide. We have a statement here from the Department of Human Health Services. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is freezing all future child care funding to all states beyond Minnesota, with President Trump predicting his administration will find massive fraud in California specifically and all of the other states as well. The review of government funding started in Minnesota, but will be expanding nationwide. Good Lord. Until feds can determine that no taxpayer dollars are being spent fraudulently. So until every single dollar in every single state has been audited and proven to be non-fraudulent, these federal tax dollars are being spent legitimately, then the spigot is being flipped off. All 50 states are cut off. And of course, they'll be flipped on state by state. Okay, Tennessee, seems like you're good. You're back online. Idaho, seems like you're good. You're back online. But I would suspect that a lot of these blue states, they are going to have their federal funding ripped away for quite a long time. In fact, we're already seeing a lot of blue state politicians, namely, that comes to mind right now, Washington State. They are actually fighting tooth and nail. They're taking down the public databases. They don't want anybody poking around, because what we've seen over the last couple days, not only independent journalists, boots on the ground knocking on doors, but every state has a public database where you can go check and see how this money's being spent. Everyday average normal people like you and me are sifting through these databases. Oh my good Lord, look at this and look at that. This is $7 million in fraud. Here's another $9 million in fraud. Here's another $2 million in fraud. It's just sickening. Ladies and gentlemen, Pandora's box has been opened. There is no going back, okay? We've all taken a look under the covers, so to speak, and this problem is massive. This problem is massive. The article goes on to say, HHS has a clear duty to verify the proper use of taxpayer funds. Spokesman Andrew Nixon said in a statement, the documentation process exists to rule out fraud and confirm that funds are supporting legitimate child care providers. So we are looking at a total shutdown, total federal assistance shutdown from the HHS until these states on an individual level can prove that they are legitimate. Now, we also have a big post coming out of the official White House page on X addressing this entire situation. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this is not some minor story. This is not going away. The entire country is talking about this. We're talking perhaps hundreds of billions of dollars per year, every single year, is being wasted and stolen from us, we the people. This is perhaps the biggest story of the year. All of this fraud that's been going on, the White House X page comes out and says, President Trump's administration is dismantling the Minnesota-based Somali fraud networks that looted hundreds of millions of dollars from American taxpayers. American taxpayers deserve complete transparency. The prosecutions will continue. Okay, let's take a look at this here. Minnesota fraud, Trump administration cracking down. To date, the DOJ has charged 98 total defendants in several Medicaid fraud and related case programs. 98, okay, it's a decent start. I want to see like 9,800. I want to see 9,800 criminal charges. That's what I want. Listen, we perhaps even more than that. Perhaps thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even 100,000. This problem is massive, nationally sweeping. The Department of Homeland Security is on the ground going door to door, conducting large-scale criminal and homeland security investigations. HHS began requiring a justification receipt or photo evidence for all childcare-related payments nationwide. And it required Minnesota to conduct a full audit of childcare centers. HHS has also frozen $185 million in federal funding to Minnesota, and we are just getting going. Now, the House Oversight Committee is getting directly involved, stepping into the arena. This is the official GOP House Oversight Committee page on X. They said a couple hours ago, we are bringing in Tim Walz to answer for the massive fraud in Minnesota. 2 hearings are coming up. On January 7th, they're bringing in a bunch of Minnesota state representatives, many of which are whistleblowers. Some of them are Democrats, many of them are Republicans that have been trying to sound the alarm and blow the whistle here for years. They've been getting silenced and threatened and shut down. Well, now they got the national stage. Now they're going to be able to go speak in front of Congress in D.C. in the House Oversight Committee and let the entire country know exactly what has been going on here in Minnesota under Governor Tim Walz's leadership, if we can even call it that. And then about a month later in February, on February 10th, Tim Walz and Minnesota State Attorney General Keith Ellison have been summoned to speak in front of the House Oversight Committee under oath. Under oath, they will be speaking. Things are heating up. This situation is not going away. This entire situation is not going away. Now there's a congressional probe into all of this. Who knew what? Who turned a blind eye? Who was aware of this? Who were the beneficiaries? Who was directly involved in this? They go on to say, we will expose failures and identify solutions so we can legislate so this does not happen again. Okay, you know what? I see a lot of people in the live chat here. To be fair, they're saying, okay, it's all talk. Nothing's going to happen. Here's a curious question. You guys know there's these betting websites like Polymarket or Kalshi, whatever it's called, Kalshi, where people can bet. They're betting on sports. They're betting on politics as well. And oftentimes, kind of where the betting money is. Listen, if people are throwing down betting money, that must mean they think there's a good reason. So I took a look at Polymarket. What does Polymarket have to say about whether or not Tim Walz will be criminally prosecuted? Well, take a look at this. Breaking news coming out of Polymarket. This is just hours ago, a formal criminal complaint has been filed against Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is. Walz has responded by attacking Nick Shirley, calling him racist for his investigation and blaming Trump. On Polymarket, we are seeing a 91% chance of criminal charges. 91% chance. And these are people betting money, tens of thousands, thousands of dollars. Is Tim Walz going to have criminal charges or not? 91% of the betting volume on Polymarket is saying, yeah, this guy is cooked. And what's our trading volume? over $500,000. Over $500,000. So, ladies and gentlemen, just as a little bit of a recap of where we are right now, Trump has frozen all of this federal child care funding nationwide. They have increased the threshold needed. Now, if you want HHS funding, you need to submit justification, a receipt, photo, evidence, proof that you actually need the funding, that you're spending the funding in a non-fraudulent way. Minnesota has had all of their funding frozen right now. The House Oversight Committee, we've got 2 hearings coming up in the next month and a half. One for a bunch of Minnesota state reps, another one for Tim Walz and the Minnesota State Attorney General under oath. Hey, explain what the hell's going on here. And right now, the betting odds, 91% chance criminal charges for Tim Walz. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot more to talk about today. That's not all. In fact, we are just getting going because, like I said, we've got investigative journalists, everyday average American citizens just like you and me going all over the place investigating, seeing, we've got all this fraud in Minnesota, but what about in my state? I live in Vermont. I live in Idaho. I live in California. I live in Texas. Is there fraud in my state like this? Well, the answer is yes. And so we're going to take a look at some of these on the ground, everyday Americans that are investigating this situation. But first, ladies and gentlemen, something terrible has happened earlier this morning. A Somali-owned daycare in Minneapolis claims that they were burglarized overnight, and they say that thieves made off with all of their documentation. Oh no. We got to see what's going on here. Play the video.
Of what they say vandals did. Now, this is where they say the vandals got into the daycare through cinder block and appeared to be unsuccessful when trying many other ways. The daycare says it appears the vandals first tried to saw into the door of the Family Dollar next door in the shopping center, but that didn't work. The manager claims those who broke in went straight to the office, stealing information of the many children who were taken care of here.
The many children. Wow. Wow. That's so unfortunate. So the proof of all the children they were taking care of got stolen last night. By these burglars. They had all the proof of evidence and everything of all these kids they were taking care of, but it all got stolen last night. Darn it.
We are not a part of any harmful things that are being said. We have no problem with CCAP, and our licensing has been good, even the inspections.
Okay, so this individual here, this young man, who's totally innocent, by the way, I'm sure, is going viral right now for this little monologue he gave here. I'm going to put this up on the big screen. Somali daycare manager speaks to the media after his business was allegedly broke into last night. Here we go.
Unfortunately, we saw that there was important documentation, enrollment of the children, and also employee documentation that was gone. There were also checkbooks that were ripped from our check papers that were ripped from our book. This is devastating news, and we don't know why this is targeting our Somali community.
Yeah, it's terrible. Wow. You know, listen. The paperwork that would prove our innocence, that would prove that we are not fraudulent, it got stolen last night. Gosh, darn it.
As one video made by a specific individual made this all happen. We've been receiving hateful messages through our voice notes threatening us since the past couple of days, including one that happened yesterday morning after the break-in. This is frightening and exhausting because this is happening to us Somali communities as Somali Americans. We are supposed to stand with each other and help each other through everything that's happening. This is also sad that a video can cause all of this. I want to say that there are hundreds of daycares out there, Somali daycares that are out there, and we all help our children and everyone in our community.
So here's what I can't make sense of. Here's the deal. Just think about this for a second. We know for a fact that 81% of Somalis in Minnesota are on federal welfare. So if all of them are on welfare, why do they even need to put their kids in a daycare at all? They're home. They're collecting all types of. These people don't work. They're not working. The point is, we know that they are not working. They're all on welfare. They're unemployed. So then why do they need to go put their kids in a daycare? What are they doing? Just think about this for half a second. None of this makes sense at all.
We have high quality daycares, and this is very sad news that one individual who made a false claim about fraud that is happening in the daycares engaged everyone else to come and do this to us.
So now what they're doing is blaming Nick Shirley for exposing all of their fraud. That really is just insane. But as if this video that I just showed you was not insane enough, in Minnesota, there was a press conference earlier today, and oh my good Lord, some of the clips we have from this press conference defending the Somali community, you are not going to believe this. This clip right here is going viral for the last 90 minutes. I can't prepare you enough for this. You are not going to believe what this woman says in the clip that I'm about to play for you. In fact, I'm going to have to play it 2 or 3 times because this is just absolutely insane. Take a listen.
If childcare is cut, I'm unable to work or go to school. I understand fraud is bad.
What in the living hell is going on here? Let's try to explain. Let's try to make sense of what just happened. Someone wrote a script for her. She's reading a script on her phone. If I don't get welfare, I can't go to school. And okay, so she's reading a script that she very clearly hasn't read before. And then she accidentally says, I understand fraud is bad. Her heart skipped a beat. Play it again. Play it one more time.
If childcare is cut, I'm unable to work or go to school. I understand fraud is bad.
You can't make this up. This is like an old Monty Python skit or something. You cannot make this up. This is insane. I feel like I'm living in crazy land. I'm living in crazy town, right? Do you guys feel the same way? It's like, what the hell's going on here? Very brave. Wow, very brave. I can't help but notice this woman in the back. This one right here. She looks like the one that wrote the script. Do you think she wrote the script right up there, that woman? She looks like the ringleader here. It's okay. You're very brave. It's fine. You've said enough. And then I want everybody to notice this woman here. This woman, the blonde woman, because she also had a little bit of a slip up at this very same press conference. She spoke also. She had a very similar slip up. Let's put this here on the big screen. Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention to this one. They did it again.
And I do see some signs over here that say stop fraud, and I agree, stop it. There are wait lists for these programs that are years long. There is fraud, and I do see some.
Right? Like, right? I'll say it again. What in the living hell is going? Like they can't even get their lies straight. They can't help themselves but say it because they know there's fraud. All of them know that there is fraud, and it just slips out. They can't even lie about it. They can't even deny it. Play it one more time.
And And I do see some signs over here that say stop fraud, and I agree, stop it. There are wait lists for these programs that are years long. There is fraud,
They cannot help themselves. This is insane. And so anyway, this was their great press conference earlier today, during which they defended themselves from the fraud allegations. As you can see, that really didn't work out that well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go through a long series of on-the-ground independent journalists. People across the country have been actually knocking on doors saying, hey, is there a daycare here? What's going on? And we have a couple viral videos I want to share with you guys today. First off, this one here to kind of put everything into context.
I know just about everyone has seen the videos from Nick Shirley talking about what's happening with the Somali daycare centers in Minnesota. But did you know that in the state of Washington, there are 539 more Somali daycare centers? 539. Each receiving somewhere between $1.5 million to $4 million taxpayer money every year. Now, what do you think is going to happen when Nick catches a plane out to Washington? Do you think he's going to find that these Somali daycare centers actually have children there?
Well, now there's like 10,000 Nick Shirleys all across the country. All you need is a cell phone, a smartphone. It's already happening. And we're going to take a look at those videos today.
Or do you think like me, and you think he's going to find more of the same that he found in Minnesota? But like, I just want y'all to think about that for a second, because like when we think about government spending, we're like 1.4 million, 1.5 million, 4 million. That's not that much money. First of all, yes, it is, especially since we're talking about state taxpayer funds. But I want you to think about that number for a second. 539. And let's say all of them got the minimal funding. If they each
do the math,
only got the absolute minimal funding, that's $755 million. What's more likely is it's over $1 billion. That is $1 billion of your taxpayer money going to people who aren't actually running a daycare.
Okay, so let's just do the math. This is really difficult. I might need to get out my graphing calculator. $1 billion per year per state. We've got 50 states, right? Yeah, I think we've got 50 states. So 1 billion per year times 50 states, that's $50 billion per year. And that's a low ball. That's a low ball estimate. Because we've got states like California and New York, Minnesota, obviously. So $50 billion in fraud per year, and that is the conservative estimate. This is bad. Like I said, there's no putting the worms back in this can. The worms are out of the can.
Or as they were in Minnesota, a leering center. So either you care about fraud, waste, and abuse, or you don't. And that'll be determined whether or not you want to speak up about this. But if you're not going to speak up about this very obvious fraud, you're not going to speak up about billions of dollars of waste. That is obvious. And could you do me a favor and just shut the fuck up about everything else?
Yeah. Okay. Fair. Okay. Fair. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. And listen, all of these Democrats. In fact, we saw Tim Walz. He came out the other day. He said, "Well, listen, if we really want to, crack down on crime in this country, well, it's actually white men. It's actually white people. It's white men that are doing most of the crime." It's like, wait a minute. Actually, no, that's not true. That's actually not true. But also, let's just be blunt here. We don't really have an epidemic or a massive problem with white men committing crimes and then going unpunished. Generally speaking, if you are a white man and you commit a crime, you get punished. We don't have a lot of, in fact, you're probably more harshly punished than otherwise. I'm looking at a guy like Derek Chauvin, for instance. Very clearly, this was a politically motivated trial. So often, if you're a white man, generally you actually get punished more harshly, more seriously than anybody else. We don't have some big epidemic of white men committing crimes going unpunished. We do, however, have an epidemic of other groups of people, to say the least. Seems like their crimes have been going unpunished for quite a while. And so now we're going to talk about some of our on-the-ground reporters. We're going to do super chats near the end of the broadcast today first. We have some on-the-ground reporting. You guys are going to like this part of the show. First one here, journalists in Washington State, are now visiting addresses operating as Somali daycares. Let's see what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. Put this up on the big screen.
Oh yeah, I was trying to find the local daycares.
We already know about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
This is a licensed property. If you have a complaint, go to the state.
Okay, I was trying to find out if you guys are a daycare. I was just trying to see.
Well, you don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to. If you want to know any questions, just go online and ask who you need to ask. But
No, there's nobody online to ask, so I'm just trying to ask you guys.
No, you don't have to ask us anything.
I don't have
If
to?
you have any questions, go
I
to the
do.
state.
I have a question.
No,
I
go
was
to
just
the
asking
state.
you guys.
And
Okay, you guys were listed on the website and a bunch of websites, so for daycares. So
Oh, that's what it is. Then you don't need to go door to
it's
door.
yeah, no, you can. Yeah, I've
You don't need to go door to door. Like, I'm sorry, isn't that actually exactly what you do if you want to put your kids in a daycare? I'm a father. If I'm looking for a daycare to enroll my children in, I'm going to actually go to the daycare and knock on the door and see, hey, what's up? I'm going to see, is it a nice daycare? Does it seem clean? You know, does it seem like is it a professional place? They've got professional employees? Are the kids well taken care of? That's actually literally exactly what you do if you are a parent. It's going to enroll your kids in a daycare. You go and knock on the door and see, hey, what type of place is this? Astounding.
you can go door to door.
So if you have any questions, go call the child care check, and they'll give you whatever information that you need.
Okay, so you guys aren't a daycare then? They're not a public daycare, right? Okay, I didn't think so.
Don't report our property either. Thank
Oh, I can, yeah. So these ones were really hostile. I just knocked on the door just to see if there's a local daycare listed on the website.
Uh-huh.
She said contact the state.
Contact the state to try to enroll your kids in our daycare. This is absurd. And by the way, once you can't help but notice. Beautiful car. Looks like a Volkswagen Atlas, if I had to guess. I don't know. Some nice, another got a minivan and a nice SUV here. Beautiful. Looks like you're in the Seattle suburbs, right outside Seattle. That's my guess. Beautiful suburbs. In fact, look, they've got another big SUV here. This is a Jeep something parked out front. How many cars these guys have? Beautiful, wealthy suburbs. If I had to guess, this house is $800,000. I'm a little bit familiar with the Seattle market. That's my guess. So you can actually see, somebody could fact check that. Go look this house up. 1003638 maybe. I'm not sure. Astounding. Listen, so anyway, listen, they've got a nicer house than me, than you, probably. Nicer house than all of us. And the reason why is because they are running a fraudulent, illegitimate daycare here and leeching off federal tax dollars and also state tax dollars. Insane. Astounding. Reprehensible. But we have more. We are just getting going. This looks like some type of Star Wars alien. Oh my good. Hey, listen, you need to release Han Solo. Mikasa Jabba Booba Shuba Han Solo Gooba. Oh my good lord. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm being a little bit silly here. Oh my good God. Okay, take a look. Let it play. I'm sorry. I can't help myself.
Today I'm showing you 161 Childcare in Columbus, Ohio. And as you can see, it does not look like a childcare center at all. It is locked. It says it's open. There's a little desk right there, but the ceiling's all falling out and stuff like that. And if you come around back, you can see that this place is just a total dump. Literal just debris everywhere.
Yeah. Seems like a nice place to drop your kids off for the day, right?
This is a question. How do you enroll? How do you enroll your children here? You can't do that? No kids? So how can I enroll my children? It says you get public money through. You get public money through Ohio. You get money through the state of Ohio. This is a money that gets.
It's not opening to you. It's not open to you. Okay, I'm not going to play them really. Okay, what is this? BRB headed to Minnesota to make millions. I can't play the music because of copyright reasons, but yeah, you can piece it together. And there you go. All right. Okay, so like this, like you just want to like laugh and cry at how insane this entire situation is. It's like how have things gotten this bad? This person right here, this Star Wars alien, is stealing like $2 million a year from you. Everybody, get out, open up your wallet. This person's taking money right out of it. Look inside your wallet, okay? This person is taking money right out of it. This is insane that things have gotten this bad. This is insane. Ugh. They shouldn't even be here. At this point, listen, you know, everybody is saying that these fraudsters, they need to be deported. I'm beyond that. I'm a little bit further than that. I want their entire families deported also, not just the ones that are verifiably proven to be involved in the fraud. I want all of them, every single one of them. I want their cousins and their children and their grandma, all of them, even if we can't prove that they were involved. All of them denaturalized, because you guys know all the Somalians, they started flowing into the country in the mid 1990s. There was the Somalian Civil War. Oh, we've got to take all the refugees. I don't really give a shit about the refugees at this point. They got to go back. They got to get the flapjacks. They got to get the fiddlesticks out of my country, out of our country. Get them. I couldn't give less of a shit about these refugees, to be honest with you. I'm sorry. Pardon my language. I've had it up to here. I've had it up to here. Our country is starting to look like the Star Wars cantina. Remember that scene on Mos Eisley that like Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi, they go inside of that cantina and they got the aliens up on the stage. They're playing the song and there's all the aliens. That is our country. Our country is becoming the freaking Star Wars cantina. And I've had enough. I have had enough. I have had enough of it. Get them out of here. I'm going to get out my lightsaber. That's it. My lightsaber's coming out. Let me regain my composure. Get my composure here. I have had enough. This is insane. This is insane. But but guess what? It gets even worse. Where are we now? Maternity Care Coalition in Philadelphia. Well, let's take a look here. Let's take a look.
The Maternity Care Coalition is a nonprofit that got $23 million from the government to run daycares like this. So it is 2 p.m. This place is supposed to be open. It closes at around 4:30. We're going to try and buzz one more time to see if anybody opens up. Looking for childcare. Okay, so nobody's going to open. Okay, another entrance. Gonna knock again. Again, it's 2 p.m., so within operating hours.
Yeah, right.
This place should be open. Little Frank needs childcare. Hello?
Nobody.
Childcare. Okay, so they didn't answer, so we're gonna call the number on their website and let's see if they answer.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for calling Maternity Care Coalition.
Of course. Of course. It is 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. Nobody's home and the phone doesn't work. It's a Somali classic.
We're closed for the Independence Day holiday.
It's a little bit cold for Independence Day.
Oh, I realized my microphone was just muted. My microphone, I need to fix my audio here. All right, well, everybody, thank you for bearing with me. No, what I was saying is, yeah, of course, the daycare is closed for Independence Day in the middle of December, in the second half of December. And it makes total sense because Somalians are well known for being patriotic Americans. Somalian immigrants, they love Independence Day. They love 4th of July. In fact, as it would turn out, they celebrate the 4th of July all year round. They are so patriotic, in fact, you know, all of us Americans, we shut down our businesses on the 4th of July. They shut down their businesses every single day of the year. That's how patriotic they are. That's how much they love independence. They never even open up the businesses at all. So here we have another one, but it's just more. We've got more. It just keeps on going. This is another one in Washington State.
So we're at the site of one, this is what I was told I was going to see, a bunch of these bilingual schools.
Coming soon, bilingual childcare. And the windows are I mean, you can't look at that. The windows, the doors are boarded up with plywood. And this is another location that has been taking millions of dollars. They're not even open yet, assuming they ever will open. They are never going to open, but they're already taking the money.
This is the first one I've seen, so I had to pull over and actually take a shot of it.
Astounding.
So
just absolutely astounding. And these are all over the place in Washington too. I mean, this looks like a trap house. I guarantee if you actually get inside this building somehow, there's homeless people doing fentanyl inside of this building. They're sleeping on mattresses. There's holes in the ceiling. Water is dripping in, and there's homeless junkies in the building doing drugs. That is what you find in a building like this in the Seattle suburbs. That is exactly what is going on. But at least coming soon, it is the multilingual child daycare. And to get them up and running, to get them off the ground, they're already taking millions of dollars every single year. Astounding. This video, okay, this guy looks a little bit crazy, but I want you to watch this video with me here. After the fraud scandal in Minnesota, a TikToker has decided to investigate daycare centers in Ohio, which has the country's second largest Somali population. Well, I'm sure nothing weird is going to be going on here. Let's take a look.
All right, so a lot of this fraud in Minnesota is centered around daycares. And now there are claims about daycares coming up from Ohio, and this is crazy. I'm just gonna start showing you some of these examples here, but basically Columbus is home to the nation's second largest Somali community behind Minnesota. There's about 60,000 Somali Americans in Columbus, and there's 500 Somali-owned businesses. And if you're not caught up on this, the FBI is now investigating this fraud in Minnesota. They say that it might reach up to $9 billion, one of the largest Medicaid frauds in American history. And federal officials have portrayed the Somali community as a hotspot for fraud.
That's right.
And I mean portrayed, but most of the fraud defendants are of Somali descent in Minnesota. So people just started using this tool where you can look up daycare centers in Ohio to look these places up. So here's one, 161 Child Care LLC, and it's listed at this address. So I literally just put this address in my own personal Google Maps, and this is what I see.
Oh, would you look at that? It is a smoke shop where the Somali daycare is registered. They are receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe millions of dollars every single year. Are you mad yet? Hey, Americans, are you pissed off yet?
It's a smoke shop. Okay, and then here's First Choice Child Care. It's listed at this address, 4303 Cleveland Avenue. And this is what I see. You know, it's just like the windows are all blacked out. There's no playscape. There's nothing for kids.
Kids don't need windows. Kids hate windows. It's all good.
Maybe the photo was taken at the wrong time, but not many cars there. All right, and then there's Benatti Child Care 2. And it's at 3629 Cleveland Avenue. And here we go again.
Would you drop your kids off here?
Of it is a boutique with bars on it. And here's the child care center. These all say 6 weeks to 12 years old. And if you have kids, you would know that most child care centers do not enroll kids that are between 6 weeks and 12 years old. That's way too big of a spread. But it enables you to get more kids enrolled, hypothetically, or at least claim that they're enrolled.
Who is putting their 6-week-old baby 6 weeks in a childcare facility, in any childcare facility, but let alone a childcare facility like this?
And then you just start looking at the reviews. And so if they even have reviews, like this place got 2 reviews 2 years ago, and they're both 5-star reviews. And again, I don't know if you have kids, but daycares get reviews.
Yes, they do.
Okay, and then you got the Hyatt Learning Center, and it's at 2599 Tiller Lane. This place you can't even see on Google Maps. But you can see that at this address, there's like all these businesses that are listed there, and this learning center is just one of them, and it has no reviews. And then this one, Ka Child Care, which is listed at 2635 Dublin, and that's this spot here. You gotta love the 1-star award winner. But mostly you just notice like there's no playground, there's no kids.
There's nothing.
And this place is listed as being permanently closed, but it got 1 review and has been open since 2018. So in the last, 5-6 years, 1 review. And it gets spicier because there is this congressperson, Ismail Mohammed, who's of Somali descent, who is receiving campaign donations from these daycare centers.
Oh, wow. Imagine that. All of these fraudulent Somali daycares, all of them are then they're redirecting their illicitly gotten money to, what is this? Ismail Mohammed, the Somali state representative, his campaign. Would you look at that?
Star Zone Daycare, Bright Kids Academy. All right, so here is Bright Kids Academy. We get the classic blacked out windows again. No reviews. Here is the Star Zone Daycare here. Again, blacked out windows, no cars, no playground. They do have a few reviews, and this lady said it's a joke. The teachers are not trained and are basically women that bring their kids to the center, and this is gonna come back. Here's another one that donated to his campaign, Primo One Daycare. Again, classic, no cars, blacked out.
I mean, this looks like a 7-Eleven. I guarantee you at one point this was a 7-Eleven or a plaid pantry.
No cars, blacked out windows. And they had the wherewithal to put up these, nice looking photos, but again, no reviews. And here's this one, Rise Up Daycare, which is in this place. Again, classic, no playground. They say that they've enrolled 71 kids, which means they're getting reimbursed for, more kids.
Yep.
But when they were actually inspected, there was hardly any kids in the building. So yeah, it looks
well, they were probably all sick that day.
It's like the same scheme that's been used in Minnesota. Likely seems like it's going on in Ohio. And when I'm reflecting on this, it just makes me remember that Somalis follow this Islamic tradition where men can marry up to 4 wives, provided they're able to support them. And based on my research, it just seems like oftentimes what will happen is there will be one official marriage and then more cultural marriages. But then I started thinking about this lady's review where she was like, hey, the teachers aren't trained and they're basically just women that bring their kids to the center. And I was like, oh yeah, of course. That might jive with this whole thing. And so it's like, all right, cool. So
well, I mean, there is another Islamic tradition where they are allowed to lie, to literally lie, cheat, and steal towards non-Muslims. It doesn't matter because listen, all of us non-Muslims, we are dogs. We are as good as dogs. We're nothing. We're less than human. Therefore, it's all good. You can lie to non-Muslims. You can cheat. You can steal. You can manipulate. It's all good. This is the law. They're allowed to do that. And kind of seems like that's what's going on here.
The guys are able to support them is the big thing. But just are we the ones supporting them? And if so, just a genuine question. Do we want to do that?
Yeah, the answer is no. And so it's not, it kind of seems like this is going on in Ohio. It kind of seems like this is going on in Minnesota. No, this is going on in Minnesota. This is going on in Ohio and Washington and all 50 states in the union. In fact, it kind of seems like wherever they are, the fraud follows. In fact, you can't help but notice it seems like literally every single place they are, doesn't matter what state, what town, what city, doesn't matter where they are, the fraud, the manipulation, the deceit, the lies, it follows thereafter. You can't help but notice. And so, good God. Good Lord, folks, this is where we are. This is why President Trump has cracked down nationally, nationwide. I don't know if you guys have been on X or Twitter these days, over the last couple days here. I want to show you something. People are pissed. Americans are pissed. We are pissed, rightfully so. This is absolutely unacceptable. And I want to show you something here. I have seen post after post after post going viral like this. F it. I'm not paying taxes this year. This is not me. This is another viral post. It says, screw it. I'm not paying taxes this year. And then when the IRS comes after me, I'll blow that up into a huge national story about how the government will destroy your life over a couple $1,000s. Meanwhile, the Pentagon just failed their 8th straight audit in a row. Somalis literally come to the U.S. just to defraud the American people out of billions of dollars. And illegal aliens are prioritized for Section 8 housing and welfare programs over actual Americans. I'm not paying for it anymore. This post has 3.3 million views, almost 100,000 likes, and I have seen dozens of similarly viral posts where people are expressing the same sentiment. People are pissed. And you know what? It is kind of hard to get into the mood. I'm not exactly in the mood to pay taxes. I'm never in the mood to pay taxes. When we all know that this money is just being stolen, you start to feel like a total idiot. I'm a hardworking American. I play by the rules. I try to follow the law. I try to be the best American citizen I can. I pay my taxes. I show up to work on time. I do my best as a good American does. And you are made to feel like a total idiot for doing that because your money, your hard work is taken advantage of and it's being redistributed towards Somali fraudsters and far left, radically progressive politicians and illegal aliens that shouldn't even be here in the country in the first place. People are pissed. People are pissed, and rightfully so. So, you know, tax season is coming up. Tax season, I guess, technically starts tomorrow, Q1 of 2026 here. I don't know what's going to happen. Could you imagine if we just have, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of Americans that don't pay taxes? Could you imagine if there was a tax strike? I don't even know what that would look like. By the way, I'm not recommending you do that. I'm not recommending you do that. Don't do that. Do not do that. I'm just thinking out loud here. That would be absolutely crazy. Now, I want to take a look at some super chats here. So, folks, bear with me here for one moment. Let's get these super chats pulled up. And also, at this point in the show, let's do a little bit of a year recap. Let's talk about New Year's. And we'll do some super chats. So one moment here, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. If you have not already, make sure to like and subscribe. And on Rumble and on YouTube, all of it. Thank you very much. It has been one hell of a year, ladies and gentlemen. Can't deny that. It really has. We'll do a recap here in just a second. Man, these super chats are coming in hot. Where do we even begin? We begin with Kevin Stankiewicz. Kevin Stankiewicz says the Trump administration needs to look into rampant assisted living senior care fraud nationwide. It has just been exposed in Minneapolis. You are right about that. You are right about that. It is all of this, you know, feeding our future fraud, feeding poor, homeless, needy. That's the type of fraud. You've got senior care fraud. You've got childhood daycare fraud, education center fraud. It's like, if it is possible to be defrauded, they have done it. All of it needs to be looked at. This is insane. If this type of stuff keeps on going on for too much longer, we are not going to have a country anymore. The country is going to crumble apart. You cannot have a republic under these type of circumstances. It just is not going to work long term. It's not going to work short term. Tim says, hope they don't forget the other social services. Look into all of it. Exactly, Tim. Thank you. Neon Phoenix says, look into Columbus, Ohio, please. Write the F now needed. Indeed. And, you know, we just did. It's bad. I think Ohio is maybe the second or third worst place where this is happening. Why? Well, you've got a certain demographic of immigrants that are living there. You know, Somalia, by the way, there are 180 individual countries listed on the International corruption index, which lists in an ordered way the least corrupt countries all the way down to the most corrupt countries around the world. There's 180 of them. Somalia is number 179. It is the 179th most corrupt country in the world out of 180. Silly us to think that we could bring those people over here and that they would just stop committing fraud. It's what they do. Their primary global profession is piracy. They're the second most fraudulent country in the world. Of course, this is what they're going to do when they come over to America. Thank you, Neon Phoenix. 5280, he says, bro is glazing so hard but still no arrest. I refuse to vote again if high-level officials are not arrested. Yeah, that's the solution. Yeah. I have to say this entire notion of not voting is just like fundamentally stupid. I have to be the one guy. I know that's very popular these days to say, if they don't do exactly what I say, I'm never voting again. So what? You are unhappy with the limited success we have now, so you're not going to vote and you're going to turn the country over to Kamala Harris or Gavin Newsom? Then what do you think happens? You're unhappy. You're only getting 25 or 30 or 50% of the success that you're getting. And I'm with you. I want more success also. I want more arrests. I want all of these things. But because you're not getting 100% of what you want, you're only getting 50% of what you want, you're willing to torch the country and burn it all down? Really? That's the grand plan? That's the grand strategy? Reminder real quick, if Kamala Harris was in office right now, we would not have a republic. The border would be open. We would have already taken in another 5 million illegal aliens in the last 11 months. So far, we've gotten rid of 2.5 million. Scratch that. Everybody's saying 2.5 million, it's not enough. It should be 10 million. Okay, whatever. Yeah, sure. It should be more. I wish we had more. I wish we had more deportations, but if you're upset about 2.5 million illegal aliens leaving, imagine how upset you'll be 5 million entering the country in the last 11 months. So I think it is important to be critical of the Trump administration and say, we demand more, we want more. But oh my good God, in what universe is the solution here to say, you know what? We're gonna put Kamala Harris in the whatever, right? Really? Okay. All right. This is the accelerationist mindset. I'm not an accelerationist. I'm not. I want accelerated incremental success, not an accelerated teardown. Because I'll tell you what, almost every single time there is an accelerated downfall or teardown of a culture, of a society, of a nation, it doesn't come back. The odds, listen, if it's almost impossible to save our country now with 50 million illegal aliens in the country, imagine how impossible it's going to be with 100 million in the country. If we can barely manage it now with 50 million here, what in the hell makes you think we're going to be able to pull this country back from the brink if we double that number and it gets up to 100 million or 150 million? Our country is going to end up like Rhodesia. It became Zimbabwe. Our country is going to end up like South Africa after apartheid, where they've got rolling blackouts and anti-white genocides. Things are not going to miraculously get better after they get worse. They're going to get worse and stay worse. They don't get better. And so this is why we cannot give up. We cannot be petulant, black-pilled defeatists. That is what a weak man does. I will keep pushing every single day for continued longitudinal long-term success. If it takes 20 years to deport all 50 million of these illegal aliens, then so be it. I'll be pushing that cause for 50 years. But I'd rather push that cause and toe that line for 50 years than say, well, we only got 2.5 million in Trump's first term, so I'm voting for Gavin Newsom next election. Pardon my language. Fuck that. Okay. We're going to keep going here. Kevin Stankiewicz says, which law firm or consulting firms set up all these fraudulent organizations for these uneducated foreign Somalis? They had help. Right now, we've seen the House Oversight Committee. They are filing subpoenas for a lot of what's going on in Minnesota. They're pulling emails and bank logs. Every single stone needs to be overturned. Every single step of the way. Because you are right. Listen, you need to understand. These maybe I can't be too specific here. The immigrant community that is in question right now, I don't want to be specific. The immigrant community that is in question right now, they have an average IQ of 68. Their average IQ is 68. Coco the gorilla has an IQ of 85. So I question whether or not this immigrant community was able to organize and execute all of this fraud across the entire country on their own. I think they probably got help. I think somebody was helping them, some entity, some organizations, a series of NGOs was helping them pull off and orchestrate all of this fraud. I am suspicious as to whether or not they were able to do it on their own. Let's put it that way. Because these people are stupider than Coco the gorilla. That's just the fact of the matter. Let's keep going here. Thank you, Kevin. Paul Beers, this is a massive European super chat. Thank you very much. He says, hi, I'm from the future. It's 2 a.m. in 2026 over here. Here's some future money. Whoa, future. Whoa, real life future money. Hey, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm not sure what type of European you are. Thanks, mate. Dankeschön, Tag. I don't know. Were you Swedish or you German? Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. If you're from España, I don't know where you're from. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That's a big one too. I'm still back here in the past. Rogue Civilian says 67 IQs at work. Yeah. Like I said, listen, somebody had to help him out here. That's a fact. Third world equals low trust society. Well, we've talked about this dynamic in Somalia. The notion of being honorable and respectable and being trustworthy and staying true to your word. These are not values. These are not cultural values that are appreciated in, frankly, most of the world. Most of the world, we kind of live in our Western culture, Europe, the United States, Canada, where we value, these are Western values. I'm a man of my word. I want to be trustworthy. I shall tell no lie. If I, my word is my bond. All I have is my word. If I make an oath, I will stick to it. And so these are Western values. In most of the world, like seriously, most of the world does not care about these things. If they can lie, cheat, steal, defraud, manipulate, they will do it. They will do it. Especially to someone like you, American person or European person, that is not a part of their culture. They've got no problem. You're an outsider. They're a group of insiders. They've got no problem stealing from you because you're different. You're the outsider. Take advantage of outsiders all they want. This is obviously true. Obviously the case. Thank you very much. Sounds like a repeat of a certain civil rights person. Guess who? I was thinking about Martin Luther King Jr. earlier this morning. He said, judge them by their character. Judge them by their deeds, not their skin color, not their race. Judge them by their deeds. Okay, I'm looking at the deeds. I'm looking at the character of these various immigrant groups, and pretty much the result is exactly the same. Pretty much the result is exactly the same. I'm not exactly happy. I'm looking at the deeds. I'm looking at the character. I'm doing a total comprehensive character assessment, and I'm not exactly happy. I'm not exactly impressed. Let's keep going here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Paper Dog Studio says, FBI needs cash sniffer dogs to go into these businesses. Revel and I are ready. They are hiding our money in walls, ceilings, and floor. I would not be surprised. Yeah, they're shoving stuff in the rafters. I wouldn't be surprised. It's probably a good idea. Yeah, probably right. We need warrants. We need boots on the ground. We need total crackdown. Gunnar S, he says, burglary claim is bullshit. Yeah, that they 100% lied about that. 100%. So they had a justification to delete evidence or proof or get rid of the paperwork. That's 100% true. I want to take a look at a super chat over here in Rumble. This is from Mark Joe 0505. I just want to say Happy New Year. Thank you for all you do. Mark Joe, thank you very much. I appreciate that. We love the Rumble rants. It's not a super chat, it's a Rumble rant over here on Rumble. I love my Rumble viewers. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And also, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. It's been one hell of a year. It has. We'll do a recap here in a minute. Thank you very much. But I want to give some attention to these Rumble rants and super chats. That's a big one. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. You know, speaking about this no voting thing, I've noticed a lot of the people that are telling me not to vote because the Trump administration has not made enough success fast enough. I can't help but notice a lot of these people, they were not outspoken Trump supporters prior to the 2024 election or even earlier than that. A lot of the people that are publicly saying it's not enough, you know, progress is not fast enough. We wanted all of the problems in the country on the face of the country to be solved day one, and they're not. The country is not perfectly fixed and saved 11 months in, so we are withholding our vote going forward. A lot of those people that are saying that, I notice, they didn't help Trump win the election in 2024. They were not publicly supporting Trump in 2024. And so it's like, what? You know, like, I can't help but notice what's going on here. Now I'm going to keep going on here. Gunnar S, he said, okay, that was Gunnar S. We got that one. This is Delima. This is a massive super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Says, I have high hopes. Justice will be swiftly served. It must, or we do not have much of a country. I hope that you and your family and this incredible community has a blessed New Year, USA. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I listen, I really think we have reason to believe that that 2026 is going to be a pretty good year. I really do think so. I think so. Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's a massive super chat too. Thank you very much. This is Dread Legion. He says, lol, fraud is bad. Hell yeah, it's dumb. Hell yeah, it is dumb bimbo. And look at all those traitors clapping for her. It is difficult to get inside the mind of these far left radicals and these liberals that are helping cover up the fraud, that they're totally fine with it. It's like they are totally willing to watch the country burn if it means that they get to maintain power for one more election cycle. As if they don't understand that listen, if things keep going at the rate things have been going, 1 or 2 or 3 more election cycles, and the country's not going to be here anymore. The country's going to be cooked. It's going to be over. These problems have got to be stopped. They've got to be stopped now. Martin D. Turner says, close them all down now. Yes. Thank you, Martin Turner. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Gunnar says, holy crap, daycare centers everywhere. All across the country. Everywhere. They are everywhere. And that is a problem. Randy says, I think we are learning something new today. We've made a lot of pretty concerning realizations over the last week or two. Hammer says, Koala T. Leering Center. I'm not sure. Thank you, Hammer. This is Russell says they need to check out elderly care homes and home assistants too, claiming for people who don't exist. You know, we had a super chat saying that a moment ago, and that is 100% right. Absolutely right. You know, if you stop and think about it, this entire dynamic, this fraud, like $100 billion in fraud every year across the country combined. That's the ballpark estimate right now. This is why we don't have a great American middle class anymore. This is why young Americans can't afford to buy a house or get married or have kids. It's because we've got third world fraudulent immigrants coming in the country, oftentimes illegally, stripping and picking this country apart. No wonder the middle class has been hollowed out. No wonder young Americans can't afford to do anything. They've got no upward mobility. The American dream has been taken from them. It's because this country has been sold out by far left radicals and rhinos alike, by the way, that couldn't give less of a crap about you or your heritage or your familial roots in this nation. And far left radicals, they're totally happy to replace you with third world immigrants. No wonder the country's in the position that it's in right now. This is Wolf's Watch. That's one of the biggest super chats I've ever seen. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. $300 USD. He says, hey boss, happy new year to you and your family. May 2026 bring you great abundance and blessings from our God. Jesus, Blessings to you and yours. Take them out for some hamburgers and your Papa Nice Bone. Oh my, can I show you something? I don't know if you guys saw this on Twitter today. You're not going to believe what this dog did. Can you see this? The dog was outside in the backyard earlier today. He was running around and I walked outside to go let him back indoors. He had ripped out the entire sprinkler line. That black tube on the ground, that is my sprinkler line. And this, I mean, he's one handsome dog. He's one good looking dog. His name is Argos. Argos the German Shepherd, but man, he is just a demon. He is just a demon. He crawled out of hell the day he was born. No, I'm kidding. We love him very much. This is just what they do. This is what German Shepherd puppies do. You know, you can't be mad. You can't be mad at a German Shepherd puppy for being a German Shepherd puppy. But there is my sprinkler line on the back lawn, ripped out of the ground, chewed in half. So that's just how it is. No, thank you very much, Wolf's Watch. Hope you had a good Christmas. I'm doing my Bible readings every night. I'm reading through 2 Chronicles right now. I read every single day. I don't know, 45 minutes a day, maybe an hour some days I read. Right now, I'm actually reading 3 books at the same time. I'm a little bit guilty, but every day I read the Bible. I'm on 2 Chronicles. I'm almost done with the Old Testament, I think. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. 2026 is going to be a good one. Thank you. Axel says, give a weed an inch and they take a yard. Crazy how these Democrats are so blind to their own stupidity. I honestly think that they don't even know what they even believe in anymore. I think a lot of them really are just evil. I think they're evil. I think not all of them. A lot of them are well-natured, good-intentioned morons. That's a lot of them that are like that, but some of them really are just evil. Some of them genuinely do want to tear the republic apart. The reason why they open up the border is because they want the republic to fail. They want heritage Americans to be replaced with third world aliens. That is what they want. They are evil. They are sinister. It's not that they're stupid. It's not that they don't know what they're doing. They do know what they're doing. They're doing it deliberately, a lot of them, because they are evil. They hate you. They hate your bloodline. They hate your heritage. They hate the American legacy. They hate the rule of law. They hate the Constitution. They hate the founding fathers. They are evil. They hate the republic for which it stands. They are evil. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them. Thank you. Thank you very much. Gunner says, we live in a Monty Python skit. It sure feels like it these days. Sure feels like it. Thank you again, Wolf's Watch. And Gunner, thank you. It's Harl says, bro, these people are never going to beat the allegations marrying within the family. They all look like the people from Wrong Turn or The Hills Have Eyes. You know, I hate to take it there, but seriously, though, why do their heads look like that? Why do their heads look like that? Why do they all kind of have... Okay, moving on. Okay, I don't know. Moving on. Who the hell knows? Polly Puree says, just imagine if Tim Walz was vice president. That'd be pretty bad. That would be pretty bad. Yep. And we came pretty close to it also. BG says, Trump sitting on his butt cashing checks from Miriam Adelson. We need to have a very serious conversation about foreign influence in this country, whether that foreign influence is coming from Qatar or Somalia or Israel or whatever country. China. Our country is we are up the creek without a paddle. We have a lot of problems. And I keep saying this, you know, it is going to take an entire generation of strong men, of men with resolve and duty to solve these problems. And we all need to be under no illusion that these problems that the country has are going to be solved in 11 months or even 4 years. These problems we have right now in our country, these will be the struggle. These are the struggles of our lifetime. These struggles, saving the country from these subversive forces, both domestic as well as foreign, this will be the struggle of a generation. We're not going to save the country in 11 months. We're not going to save the country by midterms. We're not going to save the country by the 2028 election. But what matters is that we continue to take proper, intelligent, proper steps in the right direction. And it's very, very imperative. It is imperative that we don't say 11 months into that journey, well, we haven't solved all the problems yet, so let's blow it up and vote for a far left radical progressive who's going to open up the border and bring in another 50 million illegal aliens. We should not do that. We need to make sure we continue to make quantitative, proper, deliberate steps in the right, correct direction, understanding it might take 10 years or 15 years or 20 years to get ourselves out of this hole. Look at it like a staircase. The staircase has 10 steps on it. We might only be on step 1, maybe step 2 right now. Some people right now I already see are saying, well, because we're not on the 10th step yet, we're not at the top of the staircase, I'm ready to blow up the staircase altogether. Incompetent, idiotic, moronic. What matters is that we keep on taking steps up that staircase, understanding there are more steps to go. The Trump administration right now, this is not the end-all be-all. Trump is a transitory president, meaning he's only going to be here 3 more years. It's important what happens in these 3 years, but it's also important what happens after Trump and after that guy, whoever that is, and then after that guy as well. Might take 5, 10, 15, 20 years. This will be the struggle of a lifetime. Keep in mind, it took 30, 40, 50 years, really everything post-1965, for our country to get in this downtrodden state in the first place. It took our country 60 years to get as bad as it is now. And you expect these problems to be solved in 11 months? 60 years worth of downfall? You expect to turn around in 11 months? It's insanity. It's insanity. Let's keep on going here. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Hijabba the Hutt. Yeah, that sure looks like what it is. Yeah, what she is. Thank you very much, William. Harry Toe says, if these are real daycares, then why haven't any of the customers come out and defended the business? It's true, really makes you think. Yeah, it's almost like they're not legitimate daycares. Almost like that. TT says, I'm so fed up, all of the BS. I'm done paying taxes. Every official must be jailed. Like I said, listen, I'm not, regarding paying taxes here in the next couple months, I'm not advocating for anything. What I am saying, it's going to be very interesting. It'll be very curious if we have 150, 200,000, 500,000 Americans that say, you know what, I'm not paying taxes this year. What are they going to do, arrest everybody? That'll be one curious dynamic. That'll be a very curious dynamic. What are they going to do, arrest 500,000 people because they didn't pay taxes? I don't know. Thank you very much, TT. Listen, we are all rightfully pissed off. We are all rightfully pissed off. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. That's a big one. That's a massive one. Tammy Jones Hancock says, deport every one of them. You know, like I said, at this point for me, it's not even about the fraudsters. I want all of them. I want all of them gone. I want the families of the fraudsters out of this country. If you are an immigrant in this country and you are taking more from the system than you are contributing, you have no right to be here. If you know, it's a different conversation. It's a different dynamic. If you are a taxpayer positive immigrant, even then it's up for debate. You know, just because you're making money, this country is more than an economic zone. This country is more than GDP numbers. American citizens are more than just economic units. We are a people. We are a race. We are an ethnic group. The heritage Americans. This country our ancestors fought and died and bled to make this country what it is. We are more than just a bunch of rootless economic units. We are a people. We have an ancestry. We have a heritage. And so, first off, of course, if you're an immigrant from the third world who's taking more from the system than you're contributing, you got to get the hell out. You cannot be here. But then even beyond that, if you're an immigrant, let's say from the third world, even if you are paying taxes, even if you are a positive economic unit, still, we're under no obligation to have you here. This country does not belong to the entire damn world. This country belongs to Americans. That is who this country belongs to. Regardless of how much money you can make. I'd rather have 10 poor Appalachians than one third world immigrant making $10 million a year in this country. To be honest with you, that's how I honestly feel. This country is more than an economy. This is a homeland, is what this country is. Tanky says, I think these things are sleeper cells. Would not be surprised. You think they're smart enough to be sleeper cells? Gunnar S, he says, where was the FBI, IRS, NSA already? It took Nick Shirley to find $8 billion in fraud. So we've seen that over the last 11 months, the FBI and DOJ, they actually have been slowly investigating this. Already going back a month ago, they had already we've already seen like 75 criminal prosecutions come down, federal criminal prosecutions come down in Minnesota. So they have been slowly working on this. You know what I'll tell you though? I'm going to tell you this kind of the unfortunate reality, but I think it is the reality nonetheless. The government kind of only cares about things that we, the people, force them to care about. You know, a lot of problems go unremarked on until the people get so pissed off. That's us. It reaches a boiling point, and now we are at that boiling point. Everybody's talking about this. Now we've put the government, the Trump administration, in a bind. Now they have to come out and do something about this. Keep in mind, Trump is a populist leader, meaning that there is a value to all of us getting pissed off and complaining. There is a value to complaining. If we are unhappy with something this administration is doing, this is my view, it is our patriotic obligation to complain. We should be loud and rambunctious and make videos and go on Facebook and go on X and upload TikToks, whatever you can do. Call your senator, call your representative. We should be loud and annoying and rambunctious if we are unhappy with the way something is going. Because what we have seen time and time again is that with Trump during his first term, as well as more notably his second term, he does course correct based on all of us expressing our overwhelming opinion. So this is why we got to keep on complaining. It is your patriotic obligation to complain and never stop complaining. This is one of these big critiques I have. You see, some people, my fellow Trump voters, they say, hey, shut up, stop complaining, stop asking questions, just trust the plan. Close your eyes and trust the plan. What the hell are you talking about? Listen, we have seen time and time again, anytime we get rambunctious and give our feedback and say, listen, Trump, we love you, but you're a little bit off course here, or we need to button up and focus down, dial in over here. We need to focus on this or that or this. He does it. They do it. It is mandatory. It is imperative. It is super important that we express our feedback. We are all critical thinking Americans. The difference between us over here on the right and the far left radicals is that we are independent. We are critical thinkers. We do have brains inside of our skulls. We're not like blind, zealous acolytes. We think, we can give feedback. We have opinions. We can express ourselves. That's what it means to be over here on the right. That's how I feel, at least. So no, I'm not going to flip my brain off. I'm not going to be like a robot. No, screw that. If there's ever any problem, it's our patriotic obligation to complain about it. Really, I genuinely feel that way. Speak up about it, of course. Now, this is Nate B. Says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Thank you very much. Mr. Nate B. You know, I think in the time I've been reading some of these super chats, I think there were even more super chats, and I want to make sure, there were. I want to make sure I don't miss any of these. And so you guys, there must be something in the water here tonight, because it is just super chat after super chat after super chat. I reloaded and there's more of them. Thank you everybody. Thank you everybody. What a great year it's been. I think we're gonna have a good year coming up also. Tim says revolution time. Ryan Rogers says $1 USD. Thank you, Ryan Rogers. Gunnar says, I just paid my quarterly IRS taxes. Did the Somali pirates pay theirs? No, they did not pay taxes. They actually took your tax money. You might as well file your tax check directly to the Somalians. That's kind of where we're at right now, so I hate to say that. Rich Pierce says, look at Buffalo, New York. Yeah, I would not be surprised. I think you could look at any city in the country at this point and find at least one of these fraudulent dynamics here. Patricia Luna says, get the flapjack out of my country. We are taking the country back. So far, we have had slightly over 2.5 million illegal aliens leave the country in the last 11 months. That's a big deal. We need more. And by the way, that number is growing exponentially every single month. Time goes on, there are more illegal aliens leaving than the previous month. So that number, the deportations are ramping up, those deportation numbers, both forced, compelled deportations as well as self-deportations, growing exponentially. And of course, in 2026, this is when we have a lot of these new, you guys remember the big, beautiful bill? It accommodated funding for the hiring of another 10,000 ICE agents, another 3,500 or 4,000 DHS agents, some more Border Patrol officers, some more CBP officers as well. So in 2026, a lot of that hiring, the point is, we're going to have a lot more boots on the ground. So I would expect these deportations, these numbers are going to be getting bumped up in 2026. Thank you very much. That is to say, you ain't seen nothing yet. Thank you. Rana Scanlon says, thank you for delivering the most reliable information available. Cheers to the Patriots, to Donald Trump, and to 2026 leading us to making America great. You know, Rana, thank you for your super chat. For whatever reason, your super chat has reminded me of a question that I had for you guys. I don't know if you've noticed, my most recent 3 videos that I've made, 2 earlier today and 1 yesterday, I'm kind of doing a new style. Have you guys noticed my new video style? They're a little bit less scripted. They're a little bit less like I'm reading from a script. Maybe they're a little bit more natural. I'm talking more conversationally, kind of like we're doing now on my live broadcasts. So I have a new video style. If you've noticed, my question is, do you guys like the new style? Maybe some of you haven't even noticed. You don't care. That's okay. But if you have noticed, do you like the new style? Because so far, I think it's going well enough. I think people seem to like it. I hope people like it. It is a little bit more natural and conversational. So hopefully people like that a little bit more. I'm trying out a little bit of a change. Thank you, Rana. Thank you very much. Yes, I love it. Okay, good. Funny Guy says, Matt, I agree with you, but we needed to scare the politicians to do better. The threat of not voting will make them try harder. I think that there are ways to apply pressure that are this sounds dumb, that are not voting. I think if you are talking about withholding your vote, you are playing a game of Russian roulette, because if you end up actually withholding your vote, very quickly you get a Kamala Harris, you get a Gavin Newsom, you get a Vice President Tim Walz, and then the country's cooked. You are playing a very dangerous game. And so I don't know if you've noticed, my strategy every single day I make my videos, I do my live broadcasts, is 1, to apply pressure in a positive, reinforcing way, and 2, also highlight and talk about all of the positives of the ongoing success of President Trump's America First movement. So you need to keep in mind, a lot of these ideas, a lot of the America First policy points that Trump is pursuing to varying levels of success, these are ideas that are still being publicly litigated. You know, the entire country is not on board with mass deportations. Mass deportations are still a 50-50 topic, or trade tariffs, or repatriating for manufacturing back from China. These are like 50-50 or 55-45 policies. These are policies that are still being litigated publicly and need to be explained and justified to Americans across the country. So you might have noticed every time I make one of my videos, I kind of take this approach. I say, listen, you might be unhappy with the 2.5 million deportations we've gotten so far. You might prefer to have 5 million or 10 million deportations so far, but we've gotten 2.5 million in the first year. And here are the ways in which your life has gotten better, right? In fact, I made a video doing exactly that earlier today. It's a good video. Go watch that. So it's 1, defending and justifying and litigating publicly these America First policies, because if we don't defend them now, odds are we will never get them again. And then 2, applying pressure in a positive way. You know, I think there's this saying, people oftentimes respond to sugar more favorably than vinegar, and I think that's probably true. Thank you. That was Funny Guy. Thank you, Funny Guy. Thank you very much. This is Eric J.M. Jensen. He says, let's not allow the big shiny fraud to distract us from election integrity. 10 months from midterms, we needed voter ID, citizenship proof, and preferably controlled numbered ballots. We need the Senate Republicans to go nuclear. That is what we need. Thank you very much, Eric Jensen. We need the nuclear option to be activated right now. And this is a problem. This is a problem that we see right now where we have the electorate, that's us, saying go nuclear. We have everybody in the Trump administration, Trump himself, saying go nuclear. And then you have a series of Senate Republicans that are saying, well, no. Well, no. And so if you want to talk about not voting, this is what I would say. This is a more competent strategy here. If you want to threaten Republicans with not voting or voting for somebody else, this upcoming midterms, I think it is a legitimate strategy to say, listen, if you are ignoring the electorate, if you're ignoring President Trump, if you're a Senate Republican who is refusing to go nuclear, we're going to primary you. We're going to replace you. We, the people, are going to replace you, Mr. or Mrs. Senator, with a Republican who will go nuclear, who will listen to the president, and who will listen to the American people. In fact, I'll say every single critique that somebody could levy against the Trump administration right now, really, pretty much, actually boils down to Senate Republicans refusing to go nuclear. So I would probably channel some of that frustration with Trump. I would refocus that frustration towards the Senate Republicans that are kneecapping his America First agenda right now by nature of not going nuclear. Those people should and could be replaced. Those people should be threatened with not voting, or not voting, but voting for somebody else, a Republican that actually will agree to go nuclear, listen to us, and listen to President Trump. That's what I would say. Thank you very much. But also, as I think it's important to stay moralized here, I'll say this. Do me a quick favor. Compare the GOP in 2025 to the GOP in 2025. You can't say that we have not made an insane amount of success. We've got 10 years of massive success. We are going in the right direction. We have Trump's America First agenda. We have hijacked this party, the Republican Party. In fact, Donald Trump Jr. said this about a week ago. He said, this is no longer the Republican Party. This is the America First Party because of President Trump. President Trump tore the party down to its foundation and rebuilt it up in the image of America First, and that's the way we're going now. Compare this party over the last 10 years. This party is night and day different. And so a lot of people are saying, well, it's not all the way where it needs to be yet, so therefore let's blow it up. I'm saying let's make sure it stays on the proper path going forward, as it generally speaking has been for the last 10 years. Let's keep this momentum in the right direction going forward. That's my opinion. That's my humble opinion. Then we have this. We have Kevin Spears. He says, if it's black or brown, you flush it down. That's my bathroom protocol. Thank you. That's from Kevin Spears. Rory Tanner, $20 super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. This is A. Barnes. He says, I'm not sure. Farnsworth, thank you. Tony the Person says, can you shed light on the pee-pee poo-poo war? Thank you very much. Vital Plus, thank you. Proud American says, we need to vote to have things done in a 4-year term. Thank you very much. Mountain Goddess says, what about nearby business and street cameras that can be looked at to see those daycare activities? We all know that they're fraudulent. We all know. Thank you, Mountain Goddess, and the investigations are underway. Thank you very much. Malcolm Palm, he says, appreciate you, Matt. Thanks for keeping your ear to the tracks for us. Happy New Year. Back at you. Happy New Year. Thank you very much. And also, I know some of you are living on the East Coast or over there in Europe, so thank you for spending your New Year's Eve with me here in this community. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you very much. This is H&M. He says, Nick should visit California next. Check out all the homeless charities. Sincerely, Californian. I am worried about Nick's safety, Nick Shirley's safety. He was posting on Twitter last night or earlier this morning that he's getting threats, like a lot of threats. I'm worried about him. People, and when I say people, I mean immigrants and violent members of the far left. They are pissed off at this guy. So if you are the type of person that likes to pray, do me a favor and pray for Nick's safety and well-being, because he I think needs those prayers. Thank you very much. Controlled Supporter says, your videos are awesome. Keep up the good work. America first. Controlled Supporter, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Elizabeth says, this is a spiritual battle, prayer and fasting needed. There you go. Right on cue. Thank you, Elizabeth Sutcliffe. Thank you very much. Tim says, I'm worried about the next 16 years. The education of our past generation and the next generation is scary. Luckily, what we're seeing with young men in this country is that they are perhaps one of the most far-right demographics in the country. You think you are far-right? Listen, this generation of young men, young millennials and Gen Z, these guys, us, I'll say we, I guess I'm one of them. Young Americans have had enough. Young American men have had enough. We're taking the country back. That is a non-negotiable. No ifs, ands, or buts. It is happening. And that's the end of the story. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I see a comment in the chat that says, Matt, you are Jewish. I'm actually not Jewish. I actually am not Jewish. Thank you very much, though. You're Jewish. We have, this is a big super chat from Olivia Hudson. This, I think, is the final super chat of the night. From Olivia Hudson says, Matt, you are my brother from another mother. I agree with you so much. So much of what you say, it's refreshing. Did you see what Michael Flynn said today on Alex Jones? P.S. My long coat German Shepherd says hi to Argus. Someday we're going to have a German Shepherd play date. They'll be best friends someday. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. No, I didn't. After the show, I'm going to go look that up. Now you've piqued my interest, but you know I'm a big fan of Michael Flynn, so I will take a look at that later tonight. Thank you very much. Thanks for the tip. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. You're one of the viewers. You're here every night. Every single night. Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much. Matt is Japanese. Yeah, I was born in Japan. That makes me Japanese, right? That's true. I'm actually Japanese. Everybody, thank you very much for tuning in tonight. This has been quite a long show, but I think it's fitting. This is the final broadcast of the year, so I think it's fine. We go into overtime a little bit. Thank you all very much. I've got some big things planned for 2026. I'm making some changes. I've already changed the videos a little bit. I'm looking to increase the video quantity, more videos, more broadcasts. I want to give more. I'm also, listen, maybe I shouldn't talk about this too much, but I might have a surprise for you guys. I'm looking to do something, I don't know, just change it up. I think we're going to do Formal Friday. So maybe on Fridays, normally I'm wearing my flannel and a nice sweatshirt. I might start showing up to work on Fridays wearing a suit and tie. What do you think about that? Maybe one day a week, I try to look a little bit professional, just cause we'll change it up a little bit. So I don't know, maybe it might be this Friday, 2 days from now. It might be next week. I don't know. But one of these Fridays, we're going to kick off the new tradition. So, but anyway, everybody, it's been one hell of a year. Just a little bit of a recap before we wrap things up. It has now been 1 year exactly. In fact, almost, because it was January of 2025. So almost 1 year exactly that I really started doing full-time political coverage. I started in January of 2025, so about 11 and a half months ago. And I came out of nowhere. And you guys started tuning in. In fact, I'll give you some numbers here. In the last 11 months, this community has gained 640,000 followers on YouTube, 41,000 followers on Rumble, 38,000 followers on Facebook, and 32,000 followers on X. In fact, I was looking around at everybody else's stats, analytics. I'm not saying this to brag. I actually think it is true, and really it's because of you guys. This community here, in the year of 2025, this community was the single fastest growing right-wing community on the entire internet. You look at the numbers, all the new followers, 640,000 on YouTube. In the year of 2025, this show, this community, that's all of us, the single fastest growing right-wing community on the entire internet. So to really conclude and wrap up the year, I want to say thank you all very much. It's been I never could have predicted how this year would have ended up going, but it has ended up going that way nonetheless, and it's because of you guys. So thank you very much. I think we're going to have a great year coming up. We're going into midterms. We're going to be battling every single day going into midterm season. So it's going to be one hell of a year. The fight is just getting going. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. I'm going to wrap it up now. Everybody have a great night. Have a happy new year. Stay safe. You know, the roads are crazy on nights like this, so be careful. Take care of yourself and your loved ones, but have a fun time. And I'll see you guys next year. I'll see you guys tomorrow in 2026. So thank you all very much. Have a great night. God bless and stay safe. Here's to a great 2025. Let's have a good 2026. Thank you very much.